Welcome back, my coaster fans. My name is Shadow Phoenix. This is episode 2 of our Planet Coaster series of Vista View Park build. And in episode 1, I kind of explained what had happened with our Vista View 1.0. I accidentally saved over top of it and lost the entire park. The only thing I had saved over was just a few buildings here and there and not much else, which means we have to rebuild the entire park. The beauty of that, though, is that we can make it a whole lot better because when I first started the park, there was a lot of changes that has happened over Planet Coasters since then. Things with terrain and like a bunch of stuff. So basically, this is going to be a much better version of the park. And I can already tell you from what I've got done so far in my Twitch streams that it is coming out a whole lot better. So in episode 1, what I did was I took a basic structure and we built the shape of what will become our brand new entrance for an entire plaza and everything. One of the things that people told me was in Vista View 1.0, my park, the entrance was very Six Flagsy, and it didn't really fit the rest of the park. And I agreed with that. I really liked the entrance that I did download from the Steam Workshop. It wasn't my own, though, which was something that kind of always bothered me. I didn't like the fact that, I didn't create this. I just downloaded it from the workshop and threw it in. It bothered me slightly. I mean, that's what the workshop is there for, is to download things and, why recreate something when there's already something there that would work? However, in this case, once we started building in the park and the park started getting more and more close to being finished, I started to put a train through, and then I realized, what? We need a train station at the beginning of the park. It has to be at the entrance to the park. And the only way I could think that would actually work there, the best way, would be a second story on top of the entrance, which means rebuilding the entire entrance. And that's what I was actually working on, and I had finished it too, right when I lost the park. So what episode 1 was me, that was an older video I had created where I had done the shape and everything of the actual new entrance. So here we are actually in Vista View 2.0. This is the actual park. It's the beginnings of the park and everything. This is where everything's going to be placed. You can already see our mountain in the back there. That was our weenie for the park, as Silver likes to say. And the entrance, I plopped it down here in a perfect little spot, I think. It's going to make a nice plaza kind of coming into the, right before you get into the park. And now what I'm basically doing is just I'm trying to change the colors up on the stonework and try to make the stonework just kind of look, a little more natural. It's very hard to find 3 colors that kind of mix and match that look very stonework, very alpine. What you see here, I kind of went with maybe a brown kind of stone mixed in there with some white and gray, and it actually kind of looks like a cow. I'm not happy with that, so we're gonna keep working on that eventually, and we'll get that right. Then I decided to turn we hadn't finished this. Like I said, what the original episode was just basically the basic structure of the park. It's in its simplest form. That's all that it was, and obviously it needs a whole lot more detail work, and that's what we're going to work on today, is just the detail work and things of that. The only thing really left over from our original entrance is the sign, because I got a lot of great comments about the sign. People liked the little trees and stuff that I'd made using the abstract shapes and things in the background. This time around, this is very similar to the entrance that I did in Vista View 1.0 before I lost the park, but I did make a few changes here and there, like these little things right here on the side. I think these kind of sets it off, little accents that work really well. Other than that, I mean, it's almost the exact same thing that I had done in Vista View 1.0. I didn't change up my strategy too much from because the original one looked so nice that I definitely didn't want to change too much, and I already knew what I was doing with it, so it was going to be a lot quicker. And that's going to be another thing with this part too. A lot of the things that I'm going to be doing in Vista View 2.0 are going to be rehashes or remixes, remakes of things that I had done in Vista View 1.0, and that is going to kind of play off of each other a little bit. Now there are going to be a few changes though that I am going to be doing, and you'll see these as we get into the park because of some things that changed and everything. Like I said, we can make it better. So I don't want to just redo everything the exact same way. I do want to try to make things a little different, because if I just keep doing things the exact same way, then it's going to get really, really boring, and there's no creativity to that and everything. On the other side of that, though, I mean, it's going to make things go a lot faster if I do recreate stuff, except for the coasters, because I have a problem. If I create a coaster, recreating that coaster is pretty much impossible for me, because of the way that my creativity flows and the way that I do things. I can get like basic ideas, but how that coaster actually flows and the shape of it and the track layout and everything isn't exactly the same. So if I do something once and I lose it, recreating that, it's similar, but it's not the exact same thing. So most of our coasters are probably not going to be the exact same coaster. They're going to be kind of different, slightly different, we should say. They'll do kind of the same things, though. For example, well, I can't use that example because you guys never actually saw that unless you watch my Twitch stream. So, like our mine train, that layout definitely going to be changing. There's going to be a few features that will stay in it, but it will be different. I'm sorry, guys. I'm yawning because I just woke up. Something else I want to kind of talk about here is I decided to put these little these bell towers on each side here with these little figurine guys that kind of come out and they ring the bell and then go back in. And these are actually timed to the train that we're going to put into later on, so that when the train leaves, then it actually will come in and it will ring the bell that the train is leaving. Or I'm going to try to actually see if I can set it so that it rings it when the train comes in to the station. That way it lets people know that the train's here. But we'll figure that out once we get into it. And right here on the bottom of these stations, I decided to do kind of continuing the way the stonework on the bottom of the buildings and the stucco on the top. And this was something that I kind of did in the original one, and it worked out really, really well. And I only made a couple little slight changes to it. But what we did was I put these archways in there, and then I covered the archways with windows that are kind of set back in there somewhat. Trying to get that positioning, it's slightly hard, but it's doable. And then on top of it, I put another wall kind of a little bit back in there. It's separated from the rest of it. Colored it kind of a light bluish green, and then put these fences over top of it to give it some accents right on top of the windows. And it looks absolutely beautiful. It really does. My original version, I put a little stone window up on top of that in the middle, and it was nice, but this looks better, I think. And I hope you guys agree with me. We put some bigger, like what I call church windows up on top there, and that is kind of the basic design for the side there. Alright, so something else I kind of wanted to talk about today was what my week is going to be like as far as YouTube stuff goes. As some of you know, I am out of work. I did quit my job because I was just so unhappy there and so stressed out and everything. But I don't actually have another job as of the moment, and that is kind of not good. But on the bright side, I have a ton of free time. I've been playing Planet Coaster and streaming it probably like anywhere between 6 to 10 hours a day here recently, so I have a ton of footage, not just from this, but also some Dark Souls 3 and a couple of other things. And right now my hard drive is completely full of videos that are backed up, ready to go and be edited and put here on YouTube. So I hope that I don't oversaturate you guys this week, but I gotta say, I'm probably gonna be doing a video every single day. A lot of it's gonna be Planet Coaster. So, look, kind of, if you guys are into that, look forward to that for sure, because there is going to be a lot of videos this week. Some of them will just be simple build videos, time-lapse videos, nothing really major on it, and I probably won't talk a whole lot on there. And then other ones will be kind of like this, where I kind of ramble and rant during most of the video. So again, yeah, I hope you guys will watch the rest of the videos this week. Like I said, I'm probably going to be doing at least one a day, and they are pretty much mostly going to be a lot of Planet Coaster and some Dark Souls 3 videos in there as well. Because, you know, I've got a ton of footage, and I need to get it out there, and I need to get it edited, and need to get it up here. So, one a day. And that's pretty much how this week is hoping to kind of look here to try to get some of that stuff done and get all that kind of situated for my channel and everything. I am still trying to hit 500 subscribers. I'm at 344 right now. If you guys are not already following me, I would very, very much appreciate that if you could. Now, let's see, back to the build here. Something you just saw me do is I'm actually kind of this little cool design that I came up with previously. I wish the wafers were recolorable, but they are not, so I still could kind of work with it. Considering the colors of the actual front of the building, the entrance here, this still kind of works. Now, even though these are wafers, I really just like the pattern on this. So what I did was I stuck these wafers up on the building, and then I took some small square beams and turned them sideways, colored them kind of a teal, and put them in there like that. There you go. And I made this really cool kind of design, and I continued this design up on the entire front of the building, and we're going to continue it on the back of the building too. Episode 3 will be working around the back of the entrance. But yeah, this is looking really, really nice. And you know, some people were like, but they're wafers. I'm like, you got to think about stuff in a completely different manner. You got to think outside of the box. So these aren't wafers. They're just a textured stucco, basically. You know, it's I don't know. I like it. I think it turns out really, really well. And you know, once I got it actually all finished and everything, most people will agree with me as well that it was a really cool idea to use that way. And you know, this is, you know, like I said, we're trying to redo the park, but we're wanting to make it better. And this is just kind of my ways. I feel like I've became a much better builder in the last 8 months than what I was originally. When I first started with Planet Coaster, I had no idea what I was doing. I bought the alpha. I barely played it because I didn't understand the game. I couldn't figure out how to build buildings. I couldn't figure out how the controls and stuff worked. And they just added more stuff to it, and it just made it was just like so overwhelming to me, because I'm used to Roller Coaster Tycoon 3. I'm used to building on a grid, and not having a grid and being able to do anything you want. So much freedom made it so hard to actually to build. And you know, eventually, I mean, once the game kind of started hitting beta and we started getting more stuff into it, I did actually start getting into it at that time and started playing around with coasters and stuff. And on release day is actually when I started building my Vista View Park here. So this park is something, it's not really more of a hobby as much as it is a passion. And this park, finishing this park is my passion right now, and I really, really want to get it done. So hopefully things go smoothly, we don't run into too many hiccups, and things just kind of just start meshing together really, really well, and it just comes together. And that will be great, because then we can finish the park and get back to where we were before we lost every single thing that there was in it. And there you go. That is basically the finished product here. So there's not a whole lot more that I think do to the front of it, other than just small details. Oh yeah, right here. This is something I kind of wish we had. I don't know if anybody else has these problems or not, but if you use the little like cornice pieces there, we don't have any cornice connectors. So how do you guys, if you guys use these on like the corners of buildings and stuff, and around edges and around roofs, when it comes to the actual corners themselves, like to meet two of these together right on the corner, how do you guys do that? I'm very, very curious. I would love to hear your comments and stuff below, and to see what you guys do to kind of connect these things together, because I have a hard time with it. I can't figure out a good way to make them to fit. I've come up with a couple of different ideas, and I've used them throughout. One of them is this other kind of banished, I don't even know what you would call this piece. It's like some kind of little cornice piece or something there that I used on the front of the building there. right by the bell towers. But it doesn't fit every single area. So I've got to try to figure out how to make these things meet. It would be awesome if Planet Coaster would make like a cornice piece that matches with these. And I mean, I know we have the little like angled things, but they don't really work very well. You have to place like 6 or 7 of them to make an angle, and they still don't even really match the actual, what I call cornices to begin with. So yeah, it would be kind of awesome if we had something like that. But we do not, and I would love to hear what you guys think about, what you guys do for those. If you can include links to pictures, that would be awesome. But yeah, just descriptions, things like that. And again, I also want to bring this up as well. Since we are redoing the entire park, if there was anything in Vista View 1.0, if you've been watching my video series forever, if there was anything in Vista View 1.0 that you would love to change, or if anything you have thoughts on that, you're like, oh, you could have done this in this thing. Let me know what those comments are below as well. I do these videos. I don't make these videos and stuff to make money. I make these videos because I'm enjoying it. This is a game that I absolutely am passionate about. I love doing this. I love making videos. And I love hearing from you guys. All the comments and stuff. I get a lot of awesome comments. And not as much as like, some of the other designers and stuff out there do, or other YouTubers. But I still get a lot of awesome comments from you guys. And I very, very much appreciate it. And I would love to hear more of those. So, leave a comment below. Not just, I mean, you can if you want to. Just say, oh, this is awesome. But, let's chat. Let's have conversations, guys. I will type back and respond to most anything that is a question or anything like that. And I'm usually pretty quick about it, too. So, that is going to be it for this episode. This is the front section of our entrance. It is mostly done. We've got our train is now in the top layer there, and that's going to do it for that. So, I hope you guys can join me in either tomorrow or in the next day or so with episode 3, where we are going to be working on the back of our station and the back of our entrance here. And until then, that is going to be it for me. Hey everyone, if you'd like to help support me and my channel, I have a Patreon page where you can do just that. You can pledge anything from $1 or more. Anyone who pledges $15 or more gets a unique, specially designed roller coaster from Planet Coaster made just for them. My little way of saying thanks. You can also just send donations as well if you don't want to join Patreon. And you can find those links in the video description below. Every tiny red cent I make from these means the world to me and is extremely helpful. If you're interested in my PC setup that I work with and play on that you see here, every piece of the system is described below with links to Amazon if you want to purchase them or anything else. Thanks for tuning in to my videos and my channel. If you aren't already a subscriber, click that on the screen below. And you can also check out a few of my other videos on the screen here as well. You can keep up to date on what's going on in my own little world via Twitter or watch me stream live on Twitch as well. Links are in the video description below. So wherever you are in the world, good morning, good afternoon, good evening, or good night.